Hi guys, and welcome back to Marant's Rants. Plenty of good information, a little bit of motivation, a whole lot of truth, no financial advice. This is Connect the Dots Part 43. This is going to be about Overstock, or the new company called BYON. So we'll look at it. So this is the new headline right here. It's going to tell you, today we announce our next step in our company's transformation. Overstock.com Inc., OSTK, will change to Beyond Inc., BYON. Now, if you guys are familiar, that's the ticker that they're going to be changing to. If you guys know, Overstock bought out Bed Bath & Beyond's image and likeliness for their .com, for their online. And by doing that, they actually own the website, bedbathandbeyond.com. So it helped them out twofold. One, Overstock just doesn't sound well to some vendors. You know, they wouldn't sell them certain products. The minute they changed their name to Bed Bath & Beyond, they saw an uptick in foot traffic. It's synonymous with home. Unfortunately, it's pretty down right now as far as buying home goods because of the price of housing. But what we're going to look at is, what is this company, Bed Bath & Beyond? A lot of people out there are asking questions on Twitter. I saw the headlines and they said, well, what are our shares worth? What's going on with all these shares you said that were worthless? I want to just let everyone know right now, the shares are worthless. Any share that you had of Bed Bath & Beyond previously was BBBYQ. Those don't exist, and they won't ever come back up from the ashes and turn into a new company. It doesn't work that way. They're gone. They're extinguished. All your value is gone. But let's talk about the company that you're looking at right now, Overstock. Overstock, now known as Beyond Inc., and starting November 6th. Overstock, well, when I go through and I connect these dots, guys, they're completely tied to private equity. Now, when I tell you this, yes, you should be aware. I'm not saying to run away from the company. I'm not telling you guys can invest any way you want to. I'm sure this is going to be the next grift for a lot of people, pushing out BYON, the stock itself. But if you know who you're in bed with and you understand the board of directors and the leadership, I'm here to tell you a story. I'm here to explain to you the history of what is private equity within these companies. So we'll go down the list, guys. Walk with me. It's gonna be unedited, no takes or whatever I say. One take session, no edits, no cuts. And I know it's dark out here. It's people are asleep. I'm up late. I'm just in the lab right now. So apologize for the dim lighting, but let's do it. First, right here, this is going to be Jonathan E. Johnson. If you guys know who that is, it's the CEO and director for Overstock.com. Plenty of ties to private equity in the past. The biggest thing about Overstock is they tried to do blockchain technology. And this is all from the previous CEO. The unfortunate part, it didn't pan out. They shut it all down this year. And they were trying to do what they call T0. They were trying to give out, or they did give out, an NFT as a dividend, things like that. But for this guy in general, you have to look at the company that he's been the senior vice president for. If you look at this one, it really lights up for me. This is a Clean Energy Fuels Corp. A lot of you guys know that company as Klein, and that is right here. Clean Energy, right? So Klein, if you don't remember, it was a pump and dump stock from about 2 years ago. Plenty of YouTubers put it out in front of you, and unfortunately, that's private equity's play, and it's there. This is the T0 being shut down on March 6th that I was showing you. He's been in charge of that as well. He's also been in charge at a company called BITT, B-I-T-T. Numerous people are on the board of directors with him right now, one being Gabriel Abed. If you don't know Gabriel Abed, he's also the, how can I put this? I have it right here. He's the ambassador of Barbados for the UAE. He's the founder and chairman of Abed Group and co-founder of BITT, B-I-T-T. So yes, Jonathan Johnson is on the board of directors. Okay, I'm going to call him JJ for you guys. He's on the board of directors at BITT. He's still there. Okay, I went ahead and looked him up. He's still there at BITT. And he's partnered up with this guy, one of the founders here, executive vice chair, Gabriel Abed. Well, if you know, he's with the World Economic Forum, the WEC. So if you guys don't know who's tied there, I'll let you know the list. Not only is it Klaus Schwab, who actually invented the whole damn thing, the amount of people, and this is all of them right here, that have ties to this damn thing. The board of trustees, Lawrence Fink, obviously of BlackRock. You'll also see somebody like David Rubenstein, who's with Carlyle Group. I know there was other private equity all driven in here. Bain and Company is in here. The president of Germany, some prime ministers, very famous people are here. Even right here, this is Bain and Company right here. Some Ort Gaddish. I don't know if that's a woman or a man, but doesn't matter. Private equity runs the WEF, and it's just not where I would want to invest my money with, considering this guy has ties to it. But we'll go to the next person here, Adrian Lee. Adrian Lee is the CFO of Overstock. And she's the one, she gives me a lot of red flags when I look at her tenure, what she's been doing. Right here, she's with the CNO Financial Group. She's there as a member of the board of directors. Additionally, before that, before she was here at Overstock, she was with Hertz. So she was with Hertz, positioning them up for that bankruptcy that was fed to Apollo. Apollo's the bond holding company, and you see what happened here. But let's just talk about the CNO Financial Group that she's a part of right now. And as you can see, these are all the board of directors there. She's right there, Adrian B. Lee. Right next to her is the CRO, Chief Risk Officer for Voya Financial. Remember that name, okay? Voya Financial. Another one is going to be this guy over here, Steven Shibik. When I look at Steven Shibik, yes, it says Allstate, but if you go ahead and read his whole history here, it's going to tell you he's with Sears and Arthur Andersen. If you guys know about the Sears deal, you should. Sears was bought out by a guy named Eddie Lampart, but we'll talk about that in a minute. As we go back to the board of directors for this company, you'll see that she's also on the board of directors with an individual from a senior advisor from the Boston Consulting Group. And so when I looked at this whole board of directors, I didn't see anything that I would be happy with, considering she's rubbing shoulders with private equity's best buds. The next guy is going to be David J. Nelson. David J. Nelson is on the board of directors for Overstock as well. And where did he work before? He was a vice president of Payless Shoe Store. Guys, I know you remember Payless Shoe Store. I shopped there a lot. They're gone out of the mall. The unfortunate part, Payless Shoe Store was buried by private equity. It was torn apart by Golden Gate. And I'll explain to you Golden Gate and Bloom, how they tore it apart. Payless doesn't exist anymore. It's a huge article here that I was reading, all the history of it. And this is why I give you guys these history lessons about private equity and how they tore apart these companies. Right here, by the time private equity group led by Golden Gate Capital and Blum, both of San Francisco, took over in 2012 in a $2 billion acquisition, okay? So those individuals took over Golden Gate, and I'll show you something while my cat says good morning, good night, and good evening to me right now. I just want to pay attention to Golden Gate for a second, okay? So as we go through to Golden Gate, we're going to go to the next slide really quick, next window. So here's Golden Gate. We've talked about it before. They were actually founded by Bain & Company and Bain Capital. Their actual leader is right there. That was formed in 2000. They planned out for the dot-com bubble. They did pretty well on that. But additionally, going through it, you'll see that they have ties to right here, Darden Restaurants, which we've seen the board of directors for some of the people around here. They do the whole mall deal, you know, PacSun. You'll see they did CPK, Express, Limited Brands, and we know Sue Gov used to work at Limited Brands. Sue Gov's a former CEO of Bed Bath & Beyond. But as you can see, that's what you see at Golden Gate, okay? I'm just letting you know private equity, that's who they are, and they have ties. Blum Capital. If you guys don't know who that is, just so that we're clear, tied up with Golden Gate to put all these guys out of bankruptcy and destroy the companies from within. I'm just giving you a history lesson right now on Payless because that's where this guy used to be. But this individual, Richard C. Blum, if you guys don't know who he is actually the husband of Dianne Feinstein, the former Dianne Feinstein from California, the United States Senator. And so he held his own. He actually owned his own private equity firm, didn't have her last name. They didn't share last names, but this is how they invested their money. And sure enough, they tore apart everything and everyone. He's also he co-founded Newbridge Capital, okay? And we'll talk about that in a minute. But this guy was through and through private equity. All the deals are here as you look at the Wikipedia that I was reading. But beyond that, if you go over here to Newbridge, that's actually an arm of TGP. So TGP actually had ties with Blum right there, a joint venture with Blum. And so you guys know all the deals with TGP. We've talked about it in the past. So you can see direct ties to private equity. Eddie Lampart, if you guys don't know, he was actually the guy who bought out Sears Holdings. Okay, he had that. And he also had ESL Investments, AutoZone. So remember we did a whole story on this one on AutoZone. I believe it was Connected Dots Part 17. So just so that we're clear, that's who was teaming up and buying out some of these firms. And I don't know how I got to Eddie Lampart, but I did. I think it was in on this one here where he was taking over at Payless, if I'm not mistaken, as I kept reading. And then I prepped the window right away. But I just wanted you to know how they were all tied up and how they actually got the deals done. And it was just unfortunate, it really was, that they gutted companies. But we'll go back to this guy. So as I look at him, this is still private equity at the board of directors for Overstock. Okay, check this out. You guys familiar with Tiger Management? Tiger Management is Julian Robertson. He worth like $4 billion when he died. And he has Tiger Cubs, Tiger Seeds, the whole crew from what he did in the past as far as being an investor, right? So a lot of people know who they are, the whole crew. If you don't know, there's a calendar on here. Here's the list. It's called the Tiger Cubs, okay? And you can see the Tiger Cubs, and you'll see Archegos on here and Bill Hung, and you know what happened there. They got margin called, they're done, and they were upside down. But as you see all these investors, these guys are descendants of that original Tiger Cub group. Now, as I go down, I want to show you guys something. We can go look at all of them, like Robert Ellis here. That's direct ties to also Overstock, their former guys. Chris Shumway of Shumway Capital Partners is one I want to focus on, because Chris Shumway right here, if you go down all the way down to the seeds, they're the Grand Cubs, okay, to the Grand Cubs, we're going to look at this guy by the name of I believe it's JAT. There it is. John Thaler, JAT Capital. Okay. His parent company is Shumway Capital. All right. This guy is the largest shareholder at Overstock. Other than BlackRock and Vanguard, he's in third place. So this individual here, John Thaler, is actually via Shumway Capital. So I want you guys to know that, because when I was looking at it, I was looking at like this right here. This guy went ahead. He just got named to the board of directors, and we'll talk about that in a minute, because I still want to get to this Shumway Capital part, and we'll do that. So, we're still not there. We're way, I think it's over here. Okay, so Clay Shumway, he works at Apollo. I don't know if he's related. I was trying to figure it out, but I know Chris is. So Chris, if you guys don't know who Chris is, right here, Chris Shumway, he's the actual managing partner and founder of Shumway Capital, the parent of JAT, the actual third largest shareholder, right? This is how you connect the dots. If you guys don't know who this guy is, I recognize the name right away. And I went in there and go, oh, I didn't know they were private equity. I didn't know they were, seeds of the Tiger Group and the Cubs and all this stuff. But when you look at it, you know this guy right here. That's Josh Harris from Apollo. But let's think about who just bought out. This is according to the 2022 World Economic Forum study, which, we'll go figure. But as you're going to see who bought out Michael Jordan's team, Charlotte Hornets, Gabe Plotkin bought it out. Yes, he's on there, Gabe Plotkin. But you're going to see right here, Chris Shumway. And he's the former senior managing director of the Tiger Management, and that's what is Shumway Capital, formerly of Bain Capital as well, another Bain Capital guy. So private equity definitely bought out Michael Jordan's team. I told you they did, and Chris Shumway did that. Chris Shumway is the parent company of the largest shareholder, independent shareholder for Overstock. So if you don't think that private equity has leverage, think again. We'll even go with Overstock's new board of directors here. They just appointed Marcus Lemonis. I believe that's how you say his last name. And he's right here. He just got appointed October 3rd, 2023 to the board of directors. And as you look at him, he is the chairman and CEO of Camping World. He brings the diverse, all this nonsense. But the truth is, if you really look into his history and what he does, Camping World and Good Sam, that's the company. Do you know who owns that company? I do. Good Sam Enterprises is actually owned by, partnered up with private equity Steven Adams. If you guys don't know who Steven Adams is, he's the dad of one of the Adams kids who owns all the publications in the Midwest. Like, they literally bought up all the newspapers and stuff. And then they also did all the billboards, Lamar Advertising. I used to work hand in hand with Lamar Advertising back in the early 2000s. So I'm familiar, and they were the ones who did all the political billboards for George Bush. But Steven Adams, private equity, his son owns all the damn, he helped. He helped launch it, but they own all the publishing firms in the Midwest. When you own the media, you can say whatever you want. But the reason why I show you these guys and Sam Good and how it's all partnered up is right here. As you come on down, you're going to go through, it's going to be right here, I believe. It's going to tell you who owns the company. I just read it not too long ago, maybe a couple of hours ago. The owner of the company right here. So they merged, and this company that he owns is half owned by, I believe the company is going to be, Goodness gracious. Right here. It's going to be Crestview Partners. Okay, so Crestview Partners actually owns the half of this company called Sam Good. And so when I saw Sam Good Enterprises right here, we can click on it. And as you go down, you're going to find out who owns it. And it's going to be right about, remember, no edits, no cuts. But you guys are learning just like I am. Right here. Here we go. So in early October 2016, Camping World raised $251 million in IPO, and 11.4 million shares were sold at $22 each. Marcus Lemonis, that guy who just got named to the board of directors, co-owns the company with private equity firm Crestview Partners. So if you're not familiar with Crestview Partners, I have been in the past. Apollo Global Manager, Crestview Partners, and Reverence Capital Partners acquire Voya. Okay, so they acquired right here from Voya. So they actually had a deal from Voya. Remember that we just had a board of director that actually used to work for Voya, like I've told you, partners in the past. So what's my point? As you go through, guys, you can see this is the same group that bought out private equity and bought Michael Jordan's team. These are the same guys that work hand in hand with Boston Consulting Group. There is no one at Overstock right now that is free and clear of private equity. They literally are hand in hand. So them buying Bed Bath & Beyond's name and likeliness, they can sell it to anyone and tell you this is a great move. This is what we wanted to do. It's just to sucker more people to go ahead and keep going because they don't make a damn dollar. And what I mean by don't make a dollar, everything they've ever done is failed. Yes, but it's meant to fail from what I can see just based off the actual board of directors. This is unfortunate for a lot of people. They're going to get conned into buying this new ticker. I won't be buying it. I won't be investing in it because private equity is riddled within that company and or the dots that connect to it. So believe it or not, that's what it is. So I'll pass. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully they do the homework. I'm only going to make one video on this. So for all those guys out there that are misleading folks with misinformation, they only get one shot at it. And hopefully they watch. GameStop, can't stop, won't stop, still undefeated, still the only company that's not given into private equity. And shout out to my boy Hercules over here. He's ready to go to bed. Good night. GameStop, can't stop, won't stop, GameStop. I'll see you around, millionaires. Peace.